pray we all be ready. I pray we all be ready. I pray we all be ready for his return. I pray that we give our hearts a search so we won't be playing church. I pray we all be ready for his return. Oh, I don't know if I'm playing right now, but good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is June the 13th, 2023, and today the topic is stop playing church. Stop playing church. Listen. Good morning, y'all. I guess it just blows my mind, this different stuff that the Lord be giving me every morning. I'm like, on one hand, I'd be like wondering why me, but then on the other hand, I'm like, hey, why not me, and I just be trying to be obedient, you know what I'm saying? So here I am. I mean, yes, it's well after 6. I mean, actually, in a couple of seconds, it'll be 8 a.m. But here I am to give the juice, y'all. You know what I'm saying? A little 8 a.m. juice, So I hope you guys are encouraged and inspired by it. Now, let's get into it. I usually share about my day and stuff. I might just wait and do that in the after show. So again, if you care about my day and what happened to me yesterday and all that type of stuff, then tune in to my live versions of these. Y'all can, find them on Actress Miracle Sims anywhere, or on YouTube on the God, Sex, and Love YouTube channel, or anything like that. You can see the live recordings of these. But yeah, let's get into the juice, y'all, because obviously this is important, right? I think good. So let's see. So the inspiration, where did the inspiration come from this morning? Well, first of all, your girl woke up at 2 a.m. on the dot. By the time I looked at the phone, it was 2, and I was like, okay, interesting. I looked up verses as well as the Strong's Concordance. It got real interesting when I started looking at the Strong's Concordance, because what I came across, the Greek word meant locust, and the Hebrew word meant silliness, folly, and foolishness. And I said, ooh, okay. I must have went back to sleep or something in between 2 and my regular time of getting up. But I didn't wake back up, I guess, until 5:58. And and I once again looked up verses as well as the Strongs. And I would say that the verses that I came across when I looked up Bible and 5:58 is what was standing out to me in regards to sharing right now for the juice. All right. So when I looked up the Strong's Concordance, I found that to be interesting too, because one of the words meant freedman or free, or freed away, or things like that. And then the other one meant strength of job, as well as like goods and commodity and things like that, when I was looking and going deeper into the Strong's Concordance in 5:58. However, again, the verses that I was coming across when I looked up 5:58 is what really, really was standing out to me. And so, yeah, let's get on into it, y'all. Hey, stop playing church. All right. So First Chronicles 28:9. I know y'all probably were like, you just said 5:58. I know. I know. But I think I can't remember what I looked up to get to this one, but it really stood out to me this morning. So First Chronicles 28:9, and it says this right here. It says, "And you, Solomon, my son, know the God of your father and serve him with a whole heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searches all hearts and understands every plan and thought. If you seek him, he will be found by you. But if you forsake him, he will cast you off forever." So, first of all, I guess it stood out to me because I feel like, again, this is probably what we were talking about yesterday, or at least a few days ago. So that's one reason it was standing out, because I was like, this kind of reiterating yesterday's conversation in some ways, right? But then on the flip side too, it started to make me think about, again, 5:58 and stuff. And so I went to start looking into those verses that I came across at 5:58. One of the sections led me to Isaiah 58. So it was interesting that a couple of the verses that I came across, instead of it being like Isaiah 5 and 85 or whatever, or 58 or whatever the case is, it was more so like Isaiah 58 and 5, right? And so Isaiah 58 and 5 made me want to go deeper. And so as I went deeper, I ended up pretty much reading the entire Isaiah 58. So it's pretty good. You guys can check that out on your own. I'm not going to read all of that. It's in the Go Deeper section. And whatnot. But it kind of was talking about like fasting, right? It was kind of talking about people using fasting as like a means to an end, right? They're like using it to be like, and then they were feeling some kind of way because I guess God wasn't answering their prayers or whatever the case is. And basically God's addressing all of that in Isaiah 5:58. So you guys can check that out. Actually, I went to gotquestions.org as well. Just to make sure I was getting an understanding, because the thing was, I read it, I wrote it down, or at least I wrote down Isaiah 58, and then I listened to it. You know how the Bible app has it where the very eloquent gentleman is reading the Bible or whatever the case is, or performing the Bible in some ways. So I listened to that too, just to make sure that I was receiving what I was receiving in regards to what the Bible was saying and stuff. And I still wanted to go like a smidge deeper. And so I did. And I went to gotquestions.org and just put in Isaiah 58. And it came across this article called What Are the Different Types of Fasting? So you guys can check that out. And then there's another article at the end that I came across that I put that goes deeper about Isaiah 58, and it's at enduringword.com. All of this is in the Go Deeper section, so hopefully y'all are using that. I'm not just typing that for my health. Hopefully y'all are actually reading and going through those things. But anywho, yeah, so y'all can go deeper about all of that and the fasting aspect, and you know, I guess just the quote unquote ritualistic things that we do. Again, we get in these routines and we think that we're good. You know, this reminds me actually of the conversation I was having with the guest last week, where she was mentioning that even though she grew up in the faith and everything like that, I mean, she found herself being a lukewarm Christian, like, you know, and kind of putting God to the side and whatnot. And it's so funny, again, the different conversations and things that I have. Like, I had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and she kind of was like, you know, I guess acknowledging how she's observed some other believers and how they are seeking the Lord about every aspect of their life, even down to like what they should wear and this, that, and the other. And she's like, it shouldn't be that deep. But I'm like, well, maybe we should make it that deep. You know, maybe that's the type of relationship God wants to have with us. Actually, this brings me back to the prayer meditation that I listened to this morning with the Soul Space app. And it was talking about, if I'm not mistaken now, or at some point, yeah, I think it was talking about how, you know, God knows the tears, how he documents all of our tears and things like that. And at one point, you know, I felt like I had to apologize to the Lord. I did. I was like, you know what, Lord, I apologize for looking at your devotion as if it's too much, you know, because again, for anyone to know the numbers of hairs on your head and document your tears, like, you think that's like on a whole nother level of knowing somebody. And I don't think I know anybody to that capacity. I mean, you know, I don't think I know my husband to that capacity. I don't know my son to that capacity. So when you think just with our human brains of something, right, knowing all of us to that capacity, that's on a whole nother level of love, devotion, and everything like that. And maybe it's an example, you know, who knows if it's literal, or maybe it's an example. I don't know. We can ask the Lord that, I guess, when we're in his presence. But I did feel a little bit of conviction in my heart and mind as I was listening to that and questioning that type of love. Because I'm like, well, I mean, well, on the flip side, I don't fully understand it. Because again, I don't think we love in that way. You know, I think we strive to, and there's part of us that seeks that type of love. But on the flip side, like, we look sideways at like people that really, you know, quote unquote, love somebody so much that it seems like obsessive. You know what I mean? Like that's how we've tainted that type of love in our hearts and minds, to where, you know, it looks and feels like obsession, right? So hey, I repented of that. I'm like, well, Lord, this is your type of love. And, in my apologies for looking at it like it's something crazy or whatever the case is. And yeah, so I'm just being honest and sharing that in this moment because that's what came up to me to share. But like I said, it just blows my mind just how God brings all these things together. Because anyway, I tell y'all this all the time. I'm like, listen, all I'll be doing in the morning is writing down verses. Everything else the Lord say and do through me be coming together in this beautiful way. And I'll be like, Lord, you really put that thing together. Like, it blows my mind every time. But anywho, yep. So yeah, all of those things stood out to me as I was, reflecting on Isaiah 58. So let's go to the next verse I felt led to share, and it's 1 Corinthians 15 and 58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that you labor is not in vain in the Lord. This is not an unfamiliar verse. I'm sure we've heard this, one time or another. Even as I was writing these this morning, I was like, have I woken up at 5:58 before? And have I said that the topic was 5:58, and everything like that? That's a little side note. They don't have anything to do with anything, but I was just wondering that as I was writing the verse down and whatnot. But I guess what I'm receiving here is, I guess this idea of the work, right, that we're putting in, or again, instead of just getting into routines and just doing things out of just habit or whatever the case is, perhaps it's more beneficial to, again, maybe seek the Lord as he does. Like, it's a brand new day every day and whatnot. And as we do that, what I'm receiving here is that our labor won't be in vain. And don't let anything come in between that relationship. That's another thing I'm receiving as I read this verse here, is that, again, I guess what's standing out to me is part of saying, be ye steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Don't let that get mundane and routine. Come to it new and fresh every day. Like I said, it blows my mind. I told y'all that just a second ago. It blows my mind that I kind of chuckled at it in the beginning when I was like, okay, daily dose of inspiration. And I'm like, well, what am I really going to have something to say every day? And here I am. Every day for the most part since April 1st, 2020. And even though I'm reading the same Bible, you know what I mean? It's brand new and fresh every day. And so, maybe again, just our approach should be more so a fresh approach. That's what I'm receiving, y'all. Instead of just routine and just mundane or anything like that, because God knows the difference. I feel like that's another thing that's been reiterated over the past week or so. And I'm like, I had to check my heart, and stuff like, well, Lord, are you telling me this? Because I become mundane and routine. Like, are you, is my heart in the right place as I do this and things like that? And I hope that we're all asking ourselves that question, like the little song earlier, like, I hope that we all are checking our hearts and things like that. Because at the end of the day, God knows, like, we can't sit here and pretend and keep playing or whatever the case is. Like, you can fool one another. We can do that. I might be able to fool you. You might be able to fool me, but God knows. God knows your thoughts. God knows your heart. God knows what you're really about at the end of the day. And so, if you're going to be a believer and if you're going to be standing up for the Lord and doing work for the Lord, whatever the case is, then let's just make sure we doing it for the right reasons and all the different type of stuff. That's what I'm getting. Hopefully y'all are encouraged and inspired by this. But anywho, let me see. We got so then Psalms 58, 1-5, it kind of stood out to me, but I put that in the go deeper section because honestly, if you're ready to go deeper and you ready for me and things like that, then I think it'll bless you. And I hope that you take the time to read it on your own. But I'm going to read the one verse that really stood out to me in the midst of those verses. And it was verse number 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Oh, Lord. It's like from the womb they do their work, like, that's on a whole nother level. Like, I hope that nobody listening to the sound of my voice is a part of the wicked today, but if you are, there's always a chance for you. There's grace and mercy for you as well, as you repent, and things of that nature. Then you can come on over on the Lord's side and look, as they say, get right with God and all of that. But for those fellow believers that you already feel like you right and everything like that, let's just do a heart check. Let's all just make sure that we're not playing church, but actually being the church. And I guess that's the juice this morning. That's the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Isaiah 58. No. The Bible verse of today is Romans 5:8. And it says, "But God commendeth his love toward us, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice. I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. For those of you all that care, you stuck it out with me this far, you must care about what happened to me yesterday. So yesterday was a Monday. I didn't have too much going on, but I did have some significant conversations. Hopefully I'm trying to encourage and inspire the people, you know what I'm saying? And I was getting encouraged and inspired as well, and whatnot. So shout out to the individuals I spoke with yesterday. Spoke again with the book client. So she's just very excited, and I'm excited as well to assist. Looking forward to working with this young lady to get her book and whatnot together. What else happened yesterday? I ended up finding NJ another class. Nothing wrong with teacher Alicia. Still shout out to her. She's amazing. But she switched up some times and stuff, and so she's no longer offering the class that we were going to, or having him in, and so I had to find him another teacher. But I did, and I found it in around the same time that we're used to. So he'll be in his first class with his new teacher today. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it all goes well and whatnot. She seemed like, she can keep going forward. He actually received his little certificate yesterday as well, or I got it yesterday, or downloaded it yesterday, or whatever. So that was kind of nice. He got his little preschool certificate, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to NJ, you know what I'm saying? Man, speaking of NJ, let me tell y'all about your nephew, man. Listen, anytime I tried to get some rest yesterday, here come this little guy. And I'm like, dude, I don't get it. Your papa can go and sleep all day, and you don't mess with him. But when it comes to me, here you come. You either be jumping on the bed, or you coming around, or you trying to change whatever I was watching, or whatever case it. Like, he just be around. Like, I don't know why he did that so much yesterday. I'm like, dude, can you please just go play? Like, just go play. I guess he just want to be around me. I don't know. I had the intention to play, and I did. I ended up playing cards with him a little bit yesterday, because I told y'all, I said, I think I'm going to be intentional about playing with him at some point today. But I just wanted to, woosah for a bit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, in these moments that I had like a little bit of break or whatever, I was like, let me just try to get a little nap or something like that. This kid would just not let me do it. And it's just so frustrating. I think it's like being woken up. Like, I joke with my husband, but y'all know this is GSL. I'll be honest with y'all. So, I mean, I ain't got to get too deep into it, but my husband knows the different ways I don't mind being woken up. Outside of those ways, listen, don't wake me up, man. Let me rest. Because I barely rest. That's the thing. It's like, because my mind is always going. I'm always working on this or that. And so when I finally am like trying to woosah and rest, let me rest, man. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be my fault, because on one hand, sometimes I would have to just be intentional and lock the door. Every now and then, moms, papas, y'all might have to do that, because but I didn't do that. I didn't lock the door because I don't know. I just didn't do it yesterday, but I was debating about it a couple of times. I'm like, this guy keep waking me up. Stop waking me up. Anyway, so that happened yesterday. Let me see. Anything else to report from yesterday? My sister's doing better, y'all. Thank y'all for the prayers and whatnot. Y'all, listen, she's probably getting tired of me checking in on her. I'm like, hey, you good? Still good? Want me to see you lunch? What's going on? I think she's about to, going to keep back off work and stuff, because I saw her posting about it, talk about there's going to be some hours or this week if y'all sign up to be, I'm like, this girl. But she did rest the past couple of days, so I'm not, shout out to her and stuff. Thank y'all for the prayers and the people that have showed some concern and whatnot in regards to her. She seems to be doing better. So it's gotta be the glory for that. Anything else? I think that was it in regards to what all happened yesterday. Yep, I can't think of anything else at the moment to share. So, again, like I said, I hope that the juice encouraged you and inspired you. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. And I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye.